Well, that's Chaz Hearn, the bike that's been put back together.
Yeah, oh, he's having a bad weekend, isn't he?
Was supposed to start from 5th on that Suzuki GSXR, but it's pulled over alongside the guardrail now, so that takes one bike away from row 2. Of course, 4 bikes for each row, 16 laps. Allerton on pole, race 1 winner and pole sitter. He scored the maximum haul of points so far, ready to go. Can they stop the BMW? It's all about the jump. Josh Hook's got a pretty good jump, but Robbie Bugden will lead them down to turn 1. Allerton 2nd, Maxwell 3rd, Stouffer moving through to 4th. Now, the bikes use this small chicane, which is slightly different to the V8 supercars. It lines them up straight for this run down to the hairpin.
This is going to be really interesting now, because is this what the Suzuki guys were talking about? They wanted to get out there and they wanted to hassle number 14, Glenn Allerton, but he's already gone through to the front, is Allerton.
The Pirelli shot BMW through to the lead, trying to push clear. 2 times a champion in ASPK, once on a Honda, once on a BMW. Fast, 270 k's an hour through the kink, and then slow it down, stop it to about 100 here, 18% throttle here. So there's a little bit of throttle on the run as Hook moves his way through on Bo Beaton, but 1 lap down, Allerton to the lead and building the margin. It's 8/10 at the line.
Look at that, Allerton with that lead already over Bugden. Maxwell in 3rd, and the Honda man, Jamie Stouffer, sits in 4th. That's a much better start for Stouffer.
There was a suggestion too, Steve, that with the Suzukis being on Dunlops with some warmer temperatures, they might come into the game a little bit more, but Allerton's blown that out of the water within a lap.
He certainly has. The Pirellis have always been really fast on the first lap. They just naturally got a lot of grip on that first lap, and Allerton has certainly made the most of that. Dunlop have been hoping that the track temperature rises up above 30 degrees. It's still a little bit lower than that. There is Craig Lowndes out there having a look.
Can't stop him having a look.
He certainly can't.
Doesn't mind 2 wheels. Plenty of the guys at Red Bull Racing Australia are keen 2-wheel enthusiasts. They don't go quite as fast as these guys, thankfully, but they're all big bike fans. I know Roland Dane's a big bike man. Jamie Whincup certainly loves his 2-wheel stuff, but Allerton's building the margin. 1.5 seconds at the end of 2 laps. This is the fight between Lyndon McGee and Josh Hook for position 5.
I was speaking with Paul Freed, team manager for Josh Hook there, and I've known Paul for a long time. He's done a lot of work with some riders, Josh Brooks. He's had a lot of good riders in the past, and he says, keep an eye on Hook. He's going to be the next guy that makes a name for himself coming out of Australia.
He stepped onto this Honda Superbike, replacing Wayne Maxwell. He rode in as a wild card at the World Supersport Championship opener down at Phillip Island about a month ago, and acquitted himself pretty well. And from what we saw of him yesterday, came down in a big fall, as you saw earlier, got up, got a new helmet, got another bike, went back out there and did the race. So they bred him tough in Taree.
They certainly do, and I tell you what, keep an eye on Lyndon McGee, number 38 in front as well. Remember, he had that wild ride yesterday around that right-hand sweeper, and he's looking to make amends today.
Another bike junkie there, Will Davison, is a nut for 2-wheel stuff. He's got a Juke in the garage at home in Melbourne and loves to get out for a ride and follow the 2-wheel guys. He's done a lot of training with Wayne Maxwell over the years as well, so there's all these links between.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of respect between the different classes, and I mean, like, look at Josh Hook as he nips up the inside. There's Bo Beaton as well up the inside, and not quite.
And Beaton this year riding the Racer's Edge Suzukis. His goal is to finish top privateer. He did a handful of events last year. He spent some time overseas in the last couple of years. Having a look at Lyndon McGee here on the BMW. Oh, hang on a minute.
Something's fallen off there, hasn't it?
That should be attached. I don't think that should be going down there.
Well, he's still going pretty strong, so whatever it was, it's not going to affect him.
His teammate Glenn Allerton's going well. He's leading 2.2 seconds the margin. Here's the fight for second, Robbie Bugden and Wayne Maxwell. And we saw this yesterday. Maxwell hunted him down and got the spot back.
Bit of a slide there from Bugden as he exits. Wayne Maxwell, he was one of the guys that changed the front end of his bike. He made it a little bit softer, and I don't know that it's working for him. He looks a lot better into the hairpin. If you remember yesterday, he was completely out of control. It's a lot better in, but it's not getting the result that he expected on track.
That hairpin, first gear, back to about 60 kilometres per hour. I mentioned this yesterday, I've got to repeat it. It's an amazing statistic through this sweeper here. the front wheel is doing 264 kilometres per hour. That's fast. When you consider that the way these bikes are sliding, the rear is spinning faster, and on the data it's 298.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was wondering before when you were talking about the speed. Are you talking about the front wheel or the rear wheel? Because, boy, that spins fast.
There's a difference, isn't there? Look at this. This is on board with Glenn Allerton. Leads the way, building the margin. 2.3 seconds through the chicane section that the bikes use. Have a listen to this BMW HP4.
The thing I find impressive with those onboard shots is just how much you can see the lean angle. You really get a good impression of the lean angle on these machines. See how he's hitting the gear lever there? He doesn't have to touch the clutch like you do at home. He's got a quick shifter on that bike. You just keep banging that gear lever through the gears. Flat out. Doesn't even back off of that kink.
I'm giddy.
Third gear.
He's quick stuff through there.
Third gear now. All the way up through this turn 6 and 7. But look at the daylight. I think he's proven a point today, Aaron.
Yeah, he's just absolutely ridden away from them, building the margin by 3 4/10 every lap. Maxwell zeroing in here on Robbie Bugden, who you mentioned yesterday hasn't been taking part in. There was a test actually here 2 weeks ago, and he's been doing a lot of racing in New Zealand in recent times. Josh Hook's pushing on too. He sits in 5th, but it is all about the chase for Glenn Allerton. Race 2 of the QBE Australian Superbikes. More in a sec. Well, it's the Glenn Allerton Riding Clinic in race 2 of the Australian Superbike Championship at Symmons Plains. Down at Bottle Racing, though, they are working feverishly to get David Reynolds' Falcon ready and repaired and get it back on the track for the next race of the V8 Supercars Championship. It is all hands on deck down in that garage. Neil Crompton will bring us an update a little bit later on after this Superbike race, but out front, Steve Martin, Glenn Allerton is showing off. He's dominating this 5 seconds the margin, but Wayne Maxwell's through to second. Yeah, Wayne Maxwell made a magnificent move off the end of the straight. Here it is, look, back wheel in the air, dips up the inside, foot off the peg, cuts off Robbie Bugden. Bugden had to back out a bit. He holds the line, gets on the gas, and leads into that fast hairpin. Here's an onboard look. What you can't see from that angle is the rear wheel off the ground. That's what we call a typical block pass, and he did it beautifully as he tips into the hairpin. This is the fight for position 5. Bo Beaton on the Racer's Edge Suzuki with Josh Hook on the Honda and Lyndon McGee on the next-gen BMW. Yep, Bo Beaton on the Racer's Edge Suzuki. He went for a wild ride yesterday too because he got covered in oil through this sweeper when Lyndon McGee's BMW popped an engine, and the oil was all over his screen. He couldn't see where he was going. He just had to back off, and he didn't finish the race. Allerton that time around 54.6, Maxwell 54.4, but the margin has been built. It is 4 seconds at the line with 5 laps to complete, and this is just great stuff. I mean, you get an idea here, Steve, of all that is between he and the road is about, what, 4 centimetres width of tyre? What you need to do is pull your credit card out, have a look at the size of that, and that is the amount of rubber you've got touching the ground. And if it all goes wrong, you put that credit card into the bank and pull out all the money you got, because that's how much it costs it takes to fix these bikes up. Look at it sliding around there. And then it compresses on the front forks as it goes over that dip at turn 1. As Stouffer's stuck with them more here. The Honda's been a little bit more competitive. That's encouraging stuff. It is. I mean, Honda have had a bit of a rough trot. They got put back a row in qualifying, and they've been working their way through the field. Look at that slide from Stauffer there. That's impressive stuff. So good to see Jamie making a fight back. He's actually catching up to Bugden here. 3rd in the championship last year for Jamie, and he's a former 2-time champion in 06 and 07. Yeah, it's good to see Honda getting up amongst the action. I reckon that they'll probably be happy to finish with a 4th place, if not knocking on the door of a podium. I think that Jamie, with a few laps left, he's probably going to have a go. He has to have a go at Bugden. It'd be nice for him to finish on the podium here today. Up front, Allerton's on target to clean sweep pole position, which gets you 1 championship point and also a race win worth 25. He's on target for 2 in 2 days, which is a great way to start his championship campaign. I mean, it's all just working for Allerton here. He likes the track as we look at number 27 there and number 6. That is Jamie Stauffer. Bugden in front and Maxwell sideways. Look at Maxwell counter-steering as he tips into the right-hander just after the start-finish line. It's just amazing. It is amazing stuff.
I don't know about you, I could watch this all day.
Yeah, that's what, you know, you could watch the same shot over and over and pick up something different from every rider and every bike and every tyre, every style. There's so much to look at.
I mean, when you look at it at that speed, it's incredible. You just see how much stress everything's under.
Not as much stress for this guy, though.
No, he's out there having fun at the moment. He's got that gap out to 3.3 seconds, and he's just backed it off a little bit, but he's comfortable out there now with a couple of laps to go.
Now, Stover is the one making moves. He's zeroing in on Robbie Bugden for third spot. There's a few lap riders up here. There's a few Pro Stock bikes running here this weekend as well. They'll catch them shortly, but this is at the hairpin, and he actually did get underneath, but then Bugden was able to run him back on the exit and drag race him down the next corner.
Yeah, I reckon Stauffer's going to have another go at the same area again. He looks quite strong out of there. Stauffer made quite a few changes to his bike for the morning warm-up. There's Maxwell.
And here's the Honda having another look. Whoa. Bugden's deep, really deep.
Yeah, Bugden's saying, yeah, I'll tell you what, mate, I'm not going to make it easy for you.
His brakes work.
They do work, and look at the way he swept across the track as well. Playing some mind games with Jamie Stauffer there.
They sweep around Sean Murphy, one of the local riders.
And around the outside also goes number 27, Jamie Stauffer.
So they get that done. Into this one there'll be.
I was speaking with Mal Campbell earlier on. He's a multi-Australian champion. He knows this track intimately. He said that there is another overtaking opportunity around here, around the outside. I don't know, you'd have to be pretty brave to try it, but Mal says he's done it in the past.
If anyone has, it'd be him. He's got a million laps around this place over the years. But Glenn Allerton, 4 seconds. Comfortable margin, last lap in race 2 of the QBE Australian Superbike Championship.
Look at the way that BMW just hooks around that corner.
Look at Stover, he hasn't given up. The thing's dancing on the rear tyre.
I'll tell you what, Stauffer's got one more chance after the fast right-hander. If he just nips up the inside, he can just try and get past Bugden. But Bugden's quick through that right-hander, through the sweeper.
This guy's been too quick for them all. Glenn Allerton, a quick look around. Where are they? They're back there. He's going to win race 2. He'll cruise it to the line, chalk up another win for the Next Gen Motorsports team. Another wheelie across the line. He picks up the round. Maxwell will be home in second spot. Bugden will just make it home. He hangs on a third. That was a good dice between those two guys, and Josh Hook a bit further back should win that fight for 5th. You get a feeling we're going to burn some Pirellis?
Yeah, burnout time, and why not when you've had a weekend like he's had?
It's not going to get used again after this.
No, that one might go on his wall in the shed, I think.
This is the mono across the line. Stand up. Bang. Done. Don't do that in the V8 Supercar, though. Probably won't work. Why not? He deserves it. He's dominated this round, Glenn Allerton. And I think he's just a little bit happy about it, too. It vaults him to the lead in the championship, the opening round in terms of point scoring for this year. Josh Hook next from Linda McGee, Bo Beaton. Glenn Scott in 8th from Ben Nicholson, and Ben Hendry rounded out the top 10. Thank you to Steve Martin. It's been great to have the bikes back with the cars, the V8 Supercars, not too far away with race 5 in Tasmania.